Attention pro athletes. Want to secure your financial legacy and thrive off the field? Oakbridge Wealth Management, led by wealth manager Chris Anicetti, is your dedicated financial planning ally. But don't take it from me. Take it from the Dallas Cowboys' Tyler Biadasz. He says, Chris set goals financially and has been incredibly impactful in my journey in the NFL. Experience our customized, comprehensive approach, trusted by top NFL players. Don't leave your financial success to chance. Connect with Chris on Instagram at OakbridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakbridgeWM_ANICETE, and let Oakbridge Wealth Management guide you across the goal line.
First sheet again, big opening, pass 5, pass 10, Perko to man, and he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards of the carry.
Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oakbridge Wealth Management. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by my good friend, Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how we doing today?
Not to be happy about. The Jets are on a bye. You know, the Badgers pulled out a win that I literally the whole entire time watching didn't think it was going to happen. But could it be happier?
Dude, right before we got on to this, I told you like this was like a very like life-affirming win. Like that was super necessary.
It was necessary. You know, what's affirming to me, and we'll get into this, but is the last quarter is what the Badgers can be.
Yes.
That's what's so frustrating is that we literally watched 6 games up until now of not the team that I'm expecting to see every game.
Yeah.
The last quarter was what the Badgers could be because Illinois didn't just lay down.
No.
Literally, the Badgers took it from them.
So if you'll remember when we talked with BC last week, one of the things I said was like, we hadn't even seen a glimpse of the offense, like really like touchdowns, points on multiple consecutive drives and looking confident in that. They finally saw that. We finally got that in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about that here in just a second.
Talk about it.
Before we do, got to remind the good folks listening wherever they are around the world that they should be checking out betonline.ag, where they continue to be your number one source for all of your online sports wagering needs. You need it, they've got it over there at betonline.ag. Head on over to the website, use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit with our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV, BetOnline, where the game starts. You know where we're starting.
I don't want to talk about where the game started.
We're going to talk about what I feel like we have
the
to.
Ugly for me.
It's Monday morning fullback. You know what we do, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Let's start with the ugly.
Let's start with the ugly. Let's go reverse today. Ugly,
Let's
bad,
get it out
and
of the
good.
way.
Let's get the ugly out of the way. The ugly out of the way for me, 4 offensive line penalties in the first 4 drives. Just like some really bad and frankly soft play in the first half on the offensive line. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable, like how frustrating that was. I was texting with a lot of our friends who we've seen here on this podcast about it, and they were just as flustered and flummoxed as I was, and just no 2 ways about it. That first half was ugly. Like that first half of football was ugly, and I think a lot of it comes down to the offensive line there.
The entire team didn't look good in the first half.
True.
Outside of 2 minutes, the entire team really didn't. I mean, listen, the defense only gave up 21 points in the game. That's a good game. But still, the run fits are huge. So wait, let's go to let me stick with the ugly because I don't want to go everywhere.
Okay, mine's offensive line penalties is my ugly.
That's fine. The 4 that's and I'm going there too. By the way, watching Illinois kick the ball out of bounds on the first kickoff
God,
I couldn't stop hysterically laughing because it just looked like us. You know, like I'm like, oh, that would happen to us. But it seems like I laughed so hard at that, then we made a special teams error. So my ugly is the first 4 drives we had were destroyed by penalties.
Yep.
And we're fighting back. I hated it. Another ugly is this team is so much better than what, I think we saw 2 weeks ago, last week, 4 weeks ago. If we play like we are in the fourth quarter, which I think will get to my good point eventually, but the penalties are killer. The O-line play did not in the first half keep it together. They almost got Braden Locke killed in the second half, which is every time that guy touches the football, I'm very nervous, by the way. But he should never run the football or get hit. But every time he throws the ball, I love him. Okay, neither here nor there. We went around and around like a merry-go-round. Ugly penalties, special teams field goal was embarrassing. And outside of 2 minutes, nobody played I didn't really think anybody played tremendous.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words.
It's a lot of
words to say nothing.
I think that okay. I have a couple thoughts here, just sort of like overall. First of all, in terms of the bad, they let Luke Altmaier get loose as the quarterback scrambling a lot. That was that, and I think we can talk about the run fits a little bit more because we saw them break some bigger runs. It felt like Illinois could run the football pretty much whenever they wanted to, and that bared out in the stats. They got 5 yards per attempt for the game. Altmaier had some back-breaking runs. There was a third down conversion when he was scrambling and he juked our friend Jake Chaney out of his jockstrap, and that was bad. Like that was really bad, and that felt like a momentum crushing one to me. But so I still think that the defensive run fits, we're seeing guys either overload and leave a wide open cutback lane, or like we talked about this as well again with BC, just not having gap integrity in terms of both the defensive line and linebackers with who they're taking on. But I thought that I'm going to go to a good here on that. Muma being in and playing like every defensive snap, having him, back in the fold as, a starter was, I think huge, because as you saw, especially getting into the second half, he really got his feet back under him. And I thought he played very well, was one of the better defensive players on the day for Wisconsin, on a day where we saw, some stuff that, definitely will need to be cleaned up ahead of, ahead of Ohio State.
I would go with the bad and the uglies, the run fit. I mean, wait, no, that's my ugly is that the announcer said that Altmaier was an elite athlete.
Oh God!
During the game.
Oh God!
Please. When I heard that, I was like, dude, he's having a he's not an elite athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it, dude. Come on. But he did play well. I mean, he put that team on his back and he did everything he could.
He did.
He looked like Brooks Bollinger, like at the end of the game, like walking like he got punished. So like, I think he, was in a lot of ways, our guys were in positions they're not used to.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 plays where he rolled out and we had a guy sitting there, right? You either make a decision and he's going to do the opposite. It's impossible because eventually you have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Go tackle him. He threw the ball over for 5 yards. You don't go tackle him. He runs for 25 yards. We're just out of, like, sometimes we're a little out of whack. However, we only gave up 21 points. It's like we can talk as much smack about the defense, but they literally gave up 21 points. In a game, you should win these. You should always win a game you give up 21 points. So I'm still excited about the defense. I think the run fits were horrible. They had 200 yards. They rushed 45 times.
For 223 yards. Yeah, that's
223. It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we still can't stop it. We're not, I'm a couch potato, but I can see that we're not in the right gaps,
mm-hmm.
or we're not where we should be. We don't have enough guys in the gaps when they have all these guys.
Well, it's because you're playing with 6 players who are run defenders effectively, right? You're only playing.
But there has to be a way to do
there does, and that is,
come on.
I do think that the defense is making strides in general.
No, they looked much better, and they were over the field.
And they.
Oh, you know what? They were over the field. Listen, I thought the defense played well. I was happy. Outside of the running, dude, they had 100 yards passing.
Yep, they had 100 yards passing on 21
That's
attempts.
Great.
That's less than 5 yards per attempt. And I've been screaming about yards per attempt, how low our yards per attempt passing was all year. They were basically 6 yards per attempt today or yesterday, I should say, with Locke, which still isn't great, but it's better than it has been, which is a step in the right direction for a kid making his first career start. Let's just get into the good, because there is like a lot of good that I do want to talk about here.
Happy to do that.
And let's do that. And Braden Locke's composure, I think, in the second half, in that fourth quarter, to not get the jitters, to that dime he dropped over the shoulder of Skylar Bell on that last. Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Oh my goodness. What a throw. What a throw. And that was the moment I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to win this. Like, we are going to win this game, because he was so calm. He was so calm. And you could tell that even though he's a young guy, he has played so much quarterback in a spread offense, in an air raid offense, and he just seemed so comfortable once the ball got to his hands. And he moved through his progressions well. Yeah, he only completed about 50% of his passes. But
wait, hold on. One of my bads, and I just remembered, is we dropped the ball so many times.
More drops.
So 50% is not fair for Braden Locke.
Yeah.
So let's just put that on. That was bad. A lot of drops, like in people's. So keep going with what you were saying, but that was one of my bads.
Mm-hmm.
We dropped the ball so many times in the first half that, and some in the second, but the first half was bad to where the point, like, you can't be on the field. But keep going. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's why it's 50%.
No, that's
drops,
and that is and that's totally fine. Like I'm not going to disagree with that. Per PFF, the Badgers had 2 drops, one by Skylar Bell and one by Will Pauling. Will Pauling, really nice catch on that touchdown, by the way. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's the dynamic.
That stat is it's like the balls that were uncontested, right? But there were still 2 or 3 that like were contested, where we're hoping these guys can get the ball or catch the ball, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going, because I love what you're saying.
No, but I think that the receivers took a little bit of a step forward. Will Pauling was great. Like, Will Pauling was fantastic. Skylar Bell had a drop in the first half, came back with that big catch in the second half. Riley Nowakowski, I think, had one of those drops, but we saw a lot more of him, the former fullback, playing tight end. He caught the 2-point conversion, and started to make a little bit of a difference. And then you gotta give a shout out to Coach Longo for that winning touchdown call, for the Nolan Rucci tackle fade, or whatever you want to call it, because that was a thing of beauty. He could not have been more wide open. I was worried that Braden was going to throw the ball over his head or throw it too high, but
he almost did.
Big man got up there. Got up there and used all 6'8" of his frame and however long his arms are to catch that on a little leap. But man, that was a thing of beauty. It was a very Wisconsin way to end the game. Even if we don't have fullbacks, we can still get touchdowns from big guys, from offensive linemen. So maybe, I know, Bernie, we can't chug beers anymore because there are no fullback touchdowns. Maybe we do it for all big guy touchdowns now. Maybe we'll just do it when offensive linemen and defenders score touchdowns. Maybe that's just
we can figure something out, because I like chugging beer.
Who doesn't?
I literally I can chug beer when all the running backs score.
Attention athletes. Do you want a frictionless and tailored financial planning experience to secure your future? Well, look no further. Introducing Oakbridge Wealth Management, the premier financial planning firm for professional athletes. Led by wealth manager Chris Anicetti, our team provides a unique and comprehensive approach, ensuring your financial success both on and off the field. We understand the unique challenges you face as a professional athlete, from managing cash flow habits to planning major business purchases and navigating complex contracts. That's why we've developed a proven process, working closely with our strategic partners to provide seamless solutions for your unique financial journey. Our services evolve with your career, offering short, mid, and long-term goal setting, portfolio optimization, real estate investments, and more. As you transition to life beyond the field, we support you with career development and philanthropic ventures. But don't just take our word for it. Top NFL players like Chase Roulier, Tyler Biadasz, Alec Ingold, and more trust Oakbridge Wealth Management to guide them towards financial success. Troy Dye of the Minnesota Vikings says, "I really love the work that Chris and the rest of the Oakbridge group do. I especially like the honesty and transparency when it comes to setting up financial goals and plans that best fit my needs and situation. It's time to elevate your financial game plan. Connect with Chris on Instagram at OakbridgeWM_Anicete. That's OakbridgeWM_ANICETE. And join the winning team.
I have a lot of good.
Okay, let's go.
I have a lot of good. Man, I hope I can remember it all. So here's what I think. I think the coaches in the second half figured it out. They figured something out. First half looked like we were struggling in everything we were doing. Second half said, in my brain, this is what it looks like. Phil Longo, this is not I don't know if this happened or not. This is a scenario that I think happened. I have no preferences. But I think he went in and he goes, what the hell are my guys good at? Braylon Allen, he is a beast monster out there. What do you have, 140 yards?
145.
Okay, 145. Pretty solid day with a touchdown and an absurd third down call by Phil Longo to get 11 yards on a zone. Let me just ramble and then we can go back. So don't forget. So I'm in my scenario. He goes, Braylon Allen, I got this guy. We're going to rush him more because he's awesome. I got Braden Locke, who is not a runner. He is not a guy who should ever be touched by a defensive player, but he is a gunslinger. Get it to Texas? He's a gunslinger. That dude, what the air raid is supposed to look like is what the fourth quarter looked like. Some dinks, some dumps, and then some beautiful long distance throws. The one to Sky Rebel, he dropped it in a bucket that not even NFL guys could throw that into. Sky Rebel made a fantastic catch. Like that was just drop dead gorgeous to me. And you saw all the coaches' faces on Illinois, they're just pissed because it was astonishing. Then you had that pass to Will Pauling. Those are both, and Braden Locke in that drive in the fourth quarter looked like an NFL quarterback, throwing it up, letting his guys make plays and allowing them, having the confidence in them to have plays. I love Braden Locke's confidence. It's another good for me. First half didn't look good. He didn't do anything bad. He just didn't do nobody did anything. And then somebody and it must have been either on the sidelines or in the locker room at halftime or the third quarter said something. I don't know what that was.
I'm going to venture a guess that Marty said something. This is throw a shot in the dark, but Marty feels like the guy who would come out and say something that would get the guys going.
He does. And he ran up to coach, if you watch the end of the game, and gave Fickle, shook him and gave him a hug. Somebody did something. And these guys are like, why are we playing not to lose? Why don't we play to win? And that team, if the switch flipped, I'm very happy about that. Because BC said, we're looking for our, what do you say? We're looking for our identity. But with Braden Locke, we can do the air. I mean, I'm not saying Tanner can't do it. He can do it. We're just a little bit different. He can run. There's a little more run option. Braden Locke is not a run option guy to me. He is a gunslinger. He threw some great balls. He had some down the field attempts. He threw the ball to Green down the field. Even the announcer, why don't they should be stretching the field more? And he was taking advantage of it. That was sexy to me. I don't know what else to say. I loved it. I love Braylon Allen.
I'm thinking and hoping Braden Locke's got a little Matt Schaber in him.
He does, but he has something. I don't know what else. It's like this chip of he could start at a lot of places.
I mean, he was a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school.
He was a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
And he had a great spring game. Mm-hmm. So he's a sitting. And last week when somebody gets hurt, I was thinking about this. When someone gets hurt and you're ready to get in, it's hard to just do that.
Ask Owen Daniels when he had to go in and play quarterback at Iowa.
He was going to start that game, but the game before that, when whoever was Sorgi got hurt Sorgi got hurt, it's hard to just be. And I think quarterback's different than a running back or a fullback or a line,
very much
right?
So.
And because you as a coach, you have to coach to the guy, your number one QB. They're not all the same. Tanner is different than Braden. Sorry. So I think they figured out what he could do, and I love that because I think Phil was like, this guy wants to throw, and we need to make him throw. You saw Braylon Allen a lot in pass pro. They did not send him out that much unless it was a designated, pass to him. these things are exciting to me. Even the O-line looked better in the second half. I mean, outside of that hit that everyone was mad, it was 100% a what's it called, penalty, targeting. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. I just still
on the Illinois
I just
defensive
still
lineman.
hate that rule.
I don't love that rule either, but I mean, by the letter of the law, it was.
Here's what I don't love about it, and this has nothing to do with good or bad. I hate that it takes. I hate that it. First off, it didn't look malicious. It didn't look like he was doing it to hurt somebody. It just looked like he hit him with the. He like lowered his head, and it happened to hit the other guy's head. I mean, it's still you have to still have body awareness, but my thing is, if it's malicious, then you should be kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not malicious. Listen, kicked out for the rest of the game. Don't make him have to sit out the first half of the next game. These are college guys. That guy could get hurt the next play and never play another game of a game of football. So that to me hurts because that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get kicked out.
I do want to. I want to say one thing. Going back to Braylon, 72 snaps today, far and away a season high, and they needed that from him. Because
but I don't want him to play 72 snaps.
I know,
but
I don't want him to play
rush
72 snaps either, but that might be what they need in order to win.
28 times?
29.
How many rushes?
29
rushes.
Yeah, 29
but that
rushes.
To me, in an Illinois game, in a game that tight, I think that that's needed. To me, that's needed.
Yes, it absolutely is needed. Shout out Nolan Rucci. One snap, one touchdown. But
Hayden Rucci had one catch also. So I love that those guys can both had a catch in a game.
Mm-hmm.
These things are fun. But and I think my coup d'etat, the biggest positive is that we were down 21-7 and we won 25-21.
Yep.
And that should really sum up the fight that these dudes, it was a different team in the second half all across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it that team, if the team that showed up in the fourth quarter shows up for 4 quarters against Ohio State, I'm not saying Wisconsin's going to win, but they will make a game out of it. If the team that showed up in the first half plays against Ohio State, they're going to lose 56-0. Like,
yeah, even if it's the fourth quarter team with these stupid mistakes they're still making, they're still going to be super competitive.
Yes,
I want them to correct some of these things. You can't have all these penalties. You can't miss a field goal opportunity. Like there's so much things that and they're all mental errors. They're not like you can't do them. Holding here or there, it happens in every game. But 4 penalties in the first 4 drives and a special teams penalty, can't have those things happen. Now with Braden Locke at least feeling more composed, 1st and 20s to me is not terrible. But I'd rather be 1st and 10.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like to me, like on the first drive when they get it, okay, 3rd and 1, we can just plow Braylon ahead, get a yard. False start. Now it's 3rd and 6, and now we have to pass. Right? It was those little things. Like those are so frustrating, and it's frustrating that the offensive line keeps having these issues, and it's like so many offensive line penalties this year. I haven't gone through and seen how many penalties per player it's been, but it's been bad. Like it's been really bad. I thought the snaps, Tanner Bordelin was a little bit better today. They weren't lollipopping as much. They were getting back there a little bit quicker. Still want to see them more. Still want to see them faster, but they were maybe 10% quicker to lock in. Like that quarter of a second makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference with your reads and when you're trying to get the ball out quick. Like it makes such a notable difference. And so that gets a little bit better against Ohio State. I mean, I still don't think Wisconsin's going to beat Ohio State. I don't think anyone is going to pick Wisconsin to beat Ohio State. I don't even know if the ghost of David Gilreath, can make them beat the Ohio State. But I saw someone online call for him to be the honorary captain this weekend, and I am not against that.
Dude, you know what? Plug it right here. It should be me and him.
All right, Bernie and Gilreath for co-captain.
Go back to the 03. I'm going to toot my horn real quick. Go back to 03. Matt LePay said that I should have been MVP. I was literally unstoppable blocking dudes. No one out there was safe. I was in a trance of like violence.
Let's do it.
You go back and look at it. I have clips. I was in a trance. Booker Stanley had like the best game he's ever played. And then we threw the pass, obviously, to Lee Evans, which was fantastic. But they couldn't stop. My wife hates us, but they couldn't stop a nosebleed that game.
Why does she hate that? That's like
she hates like these stupid puns that like dads say now, which all is now what I do to make her annoyed. Like when somebody dropped the ball, I was like, this dude couldn't catch a cold in the Arctic. And she's like, she shakes her head, and I'm like, on the inside, yeah, I know you don't like that. I know, I do it on purpose.
That's really good. That's really
Oh,
good.
it's so good.
Which is also a perfect place for us to wrap up here, Monday Morning Fullback. We try to keep it to 20 minutes, and here we are at just about 20 minutes. So that is going to be it for us today. I think we're going to try to get a couple, an extra show in this week because it's such a big week. We got a lot of people we're talking to. I think we might get a little game preview with the Ohio State guys on the Believe Network.
Whoa.
So, and we got some other former Badgers who've been hitting us up to come on. So,
by the way, I didn't think there could be a more boring game to watch than Iowa versus Wisconsin, and there was
Iowa, Minnesota.
No, well, I didn't watch that one because I just couldn't get my head around it.
Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah, it was so boring.
Oh, that was. I mean, Penn State shot themselves in the foot. Penn State just didn't even try to throw the ball downfield. It was bad, man. Like James Franklin had a terrible coaching game.
But the defense looked really good, though.
They look good, but also they have a set of running backs who are among the best in the country, and Allen, Katron Allen, and Nick Singleton, and they got 9 carries each in that game. Like that was just a terrible offensive coordinating job. And just that was Penn State should be ashamed of themselves. What
was the end result? Was it 21-10,
24-16, or something like that? Like
when I ended it,
20-12, 20-12, something like
20-12.
20-12. It was. I think I was listening to Shutdown Fullcast.
10-6.
It was like 10-6 at halftime. I was listening to Shutdown Fullcast, and they called it nominally a one-score game, but not a one-score game in spirit, because Ohio State never really felt like they were going to lose, especially in the second half there. So, I think
Ohio State has not been playing to their top ability the last couple games,
or what we're used to, but their defense is good again. Like Ohio State's defense is good again, and the last couple of years they've been all offense and less defense. And now
I'm just trying to open the door on you.
Listen, I understand. I'm trying to keep things in perspective. It's my job.
They're a mammoth, and we are Goliath. No, that's wrong.
No,
we're David.
Mixing metaphors. we are David. They are Goliath.
Listen, you never know on any given day. That's why you play the game.
That's why they play the game.
All I'm going to say is, I'll be there if Gilreath is there and I'm there, and somehow Booker Stanley is there, which I don't think would happen. And Lee Evans is there; he's not going to be there. And Shabes is in town. They're gonna show the Shabes.
Oh, they have to.
They have to.
I mean, it'll be the Gilreath kickoff. It'll be the Shabes to Evans, and hopefully you just blowing someone up. Hopefully you blowing up AJ Hawk.
It won't be. It won't be. I don't think I ever blew up AJ Hawk, but I definitely blocked him very well. Because AJ Hawk was the supposedly best linebacker in the country, and I wanted to be the best fullback. So what do you have to do? You have to defeat the best guys. If you go back to 2004, I definitely think I did a good job. And 2003. I'm just saying. I can't wait to send you some clips. Maybe we'll just throw it up.
Oh, we're gonna put them on. We will.
I definitely videotaped it.
Send those to me. We will make that happen
right now.
We will make that happen this week. I can't wait,
buddy.
I'm excited. It feels really good. Even after the other wins felt a little bit kind of like they left something on the table. That fourth quarter, man, that changed my weekend, dude. Like that fourth quarter literally changed my weekend. I was just going to be down, depressed, and in a funk, especially if the Bills keep playing awful like they are. We're recording this at halftime right now, and the Bills just look like absolute dog poo. So, at least the Badgers have done well for me. And your Jets are on a bye, so you can't lose there.
Nope.
Let's wrap it up there, Bernie. Excited we'll be back later this week with more interviews, more chatter, and some Ohio State preview. It's exciting times again. It feels like they finally tapped into something, and if they can keep that, then the second half of the season is going to get real exciting coming down the stretch. So that's going to do it for us here today on the Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag and our friends over there at Oakbridge Wealth Management. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin. Let's go, David.